Welcome back to AM Northwest. Learning to negotiate well is a life changer. Here to teach us how to do it right, we welcome back the author of Captivate, The Science of Succeeding with People, Vanessa Van Edwards. Good to see you again, Vanessa.
Yeah, happy to be here.
So you say that we can, first of all, let's talk about how we can negotiate well. And the beginning thing you say is to set expectations for yourself.
Yes, so the thing is most of us think that we're not negotiating.
Yes,
but actually
I'm a terrible negotiator.
And we do it all the time. It's not just raises and promotions, it's yard sales, it's negotiating with your kids. You know, we're always negotiating a little bit. And the interesting thing is there's a big gender difference here. So when women are asked to pick a metaphor for negotiating, they will most often choose going to the dentist. When men are asked to pick a metaphor, they often choose playing a ball game.
Really? So that says how much women dislike negotiating.
Yes, and my goal is no matter where you stand, which metaphor you'd pick, I want us all to look at it as sort of a playful challenge, right?
Okay.
Because when you do that, you set your expectations high. So there was a study that looked at pessimists and optimists, and they found that pessimists do worse negotiating. But the key is that they could change pessimists just by priming them to think more positively about their outcomes. So the more positive you set your expectations, the better your negotiation will go. And that actually comes out in the numbers. So before you even start negotiating, before you even walk into the room, whether that's at a yard sale or negotiating with someone behind a counter, think to yourself, I can win this and here's why. Because that's already going to set you up for a greater level of success.
But is it also then negotiating with a smile on your face, essentially, this whole process is going to be fun?
I think that the idea that it's going to be a fun challenge and that no one has to lose is really important. So the difference between going to the dentist, it's like, even though it's good for you, it's a terrible process. In a ball game, if someone loses, they still enjoyed the process of playing, right? And so I think it's that we can, okay, we're going to enjoy the process, we're going to learn about something, and hopefully we'll get to win.
You say watch for suspicion.
Yes, so I want to teach a very, very easy nonverbal trick. So in negotiations, the biggest mistake you can make is ignoring someone's doubt. And how you spot doubt is actually by looking at the lower eyelid. So for example, if I'm looking at you and I harden my lower lids at you, that is a universal expression of suspicion. It's kind of a partial anger. So when you look at anger on the face, usually we pull our eyebrows down, we harden our lower lids, and we tense our lips. So anytime someone hardens those lids, it means they're doubting what you are saying.
Oh.
So the most important thing is not just going through your pitch or your spiel, but actually looking at them and saying, ooh, I just saw a little hardening of the lid. For example, let's say that you're negotiating with someone at a yard sale and you say, I only have $5 to pay for this. That's all I got.
And they
kind of look at you. And they don't believe that you only have $5. That would be a good moment to empty your pockets or pull out your wallet and say, look, I really only have $5. Make sure you really only have $5.
Make sure you're not really lying, okay.
Right. So look for that suspicion and then spot it immediately. That's going to help you get a better outcome at the end.
And build rapport.
Yes. So this is not just about getting down to business. I think that a lot of us feel if we're going into negotiation, this could be asking for a raise from a boss, asking for a promotion, negotiating in a job interview for salary. We just want to get right into it. Actually, we are much more kind and more giving with our friends. So you're better off not jumping right into the negotiation, but finding out a little bit more about them. Just like you would open up chit-chat with a longtime friend, you want to do the exact same thing before negotiation because it helps them prime you or prime your relationship to be more friendly, more congenial, and they're more likely to give you more.
Well, that makes sense. I mean, using that yard sale analogy, if you build rapport with the person holding the yard sale, they're going to like you, they're going to want to give you a deal.
It's way better if I were to say, like, so how much for this?
Right.
Oops, I'm like drawing. If I say how much for this, it's kind of like abrasive, right? You're going to give the top of the line price. Whereas if I were to say, hey, I love your decorations. They are looking great. Did you make them yourself? Right. So anytime that I do that, it builds rapport.
Good idea.
And this fourth one also ties into that, which is using pronouns like we, us, our. So a study found that when we use more of the inclusive pronouns, we are more likely to get a better deal. So this is the same thing as building rapport. For example, how can we find a deal, right? What can we do to figure this out? What would work for both of us? The more that you can phrase the negotiation as, I want this to be a win-win as much as possible, the better that negotiation is going to be.
Well, I can see people using that with their kids.
Absolutely, exactly. With kids especially, they often feel distant, like you have different goals or different motivations. So if you're saying, hey, look, I know that you want this and I want this, what would work for both of us? What do we both want? Or how can we work on this or figure this out together? Anytime you're using those kinds of words, it makes it less antagonistic. And that's really what we want. We don't want it to feel like it's me against you. Rather, we're trying to solve something together.
Right, good point. And be broad.
So the last one is this idea of your body language. So in one study, they found that they analyzed over 2,000 videotapes of negotiations. They found that when a negotiator, either one of the negotiators had crossed legs, they were less likely to get a deal. Now, they think this is because...
This is your study of body language.
This is
really
absolutely,
fascinating.
yes.
Okay.
So I love body language.
Yeah.
There's so much going on beyond the words.
Right.
When we are closed, for example, if I have my legs crossed and I have my arms crossed,
Maybe it's just comfortable.
Maybe it's just comfortable, but
Yeah.
why is it comfortable? Because we are protecting our vital organs.
Okay.
So they think that when we are closed in our body, it also makes us closed in our mind. We speak in shorter sentences when we cross our arms. We say no more often when we cross our arms. So the more open and broad your body language can be, leaning in, taking up a lot of expansive space, it not only looks more confident, but it also somehow mentally keeps you more open-minded.
And that can be used... I mean, if
Throughout.
when you talk about body language and being broad,
Yes.
Give me something that you're doing standing up. What do you do standing up to say that you're inclusive of everyone?
Okay, so the best thing that you can do is what's called fronting. So when you're standing up, you're walking towards someone, you want to make a deal with them. The best thing you can do is non-verbally align your toes, your torso, and your head towards the person you're talking to.
Okay.
When you do that, it's sort of like a non-verbal form of respect. And so when you're negotiating with someone, even if you're trying to compete for a resource of some kind,
Sure.
you're saying, hey, I respect you. Like, we're on the same page. It's basically the verbal version of, let's make a deal. Let's work together.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, tell folks again, the book is called Captivate, The Science of Succeeding with People. Vanessa Van Edwards, always good to chat with you. Thank you very much. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Stay with us.